Welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. Hi Jim. After last week's little bit more philosophical approach to listening to music, I'm back this week with a way more practical, just plain Jane exercise for guitarists. Yay! And this week I want to talk about an exercise for your legato playing. And this won't make you play really faster or smoother or give you more range or anything of that. It's a bit more conceptual. It's a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit more kind of upkeep and slow development. Like, it's nothing you see, like there's loads of exercises where it's like about how high your finger, how exactly to hold your hand. Those exercises are brilliant and you should check them out. This is not one of them. This is very kind of a bit more beginner starting, getting to know your hand, okay? It comes from a place where I noticed something, or the teacher who showed me this exercise noticed something. When we play hammer-on legato with our hand, usually not all our fingers have the same strength. If you play guitar for a while, you're probably quite sufficient with your first and your third finger. A lot of it probably comes down to, we used to play the pentatonic. So 1 to 4, 1 to 3, it's quite comfortable. Like if you play like an A minor pentatonic in like a position like this. And even some people don't even play the pentatonic with 1-4. A lot of people play it with 1-3 because of fingering issues and strength and stuff like that. Like knowing the pentatonic, yes. So this usually feels more or less comfortable. If you do that at home, you probably don't feel any big strain in your hand, and that's good. If you go one step further, a lot of students I have and a lot of people I encounter, the next thing feels way more harder, way more weird. There's this strain, and that's like, for example, the connection 2 and 4. Like if you try to play the pentatonic, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but even like the smaller parts like this, if you do that with 2 and 4, usually that's not as comfortable. Right away you feel there's a different thing. I think there is a biological explanation. Someone told me once it has to do with how your fingers in your hand are connected. And some things just work better than others for grabbing things. I think that's what the hand is designed. Don't quote me on this. Ask a doctor or someone who knows, or someone who can use Google for that matter. But my point is, not all of them are the same strength. 3 to 4 sometimes works quite well because we often as guitarists play those like hammer-on pulls with the 4th finger. That works. However, there's like a lot of stuff. 2 to 3 is kind of comfortable, not super comfortable. 2 to 1 kind of feels comfortable. The main point is they're not all even. I first really encountered it when I played some chromatic lines in bebop. There's some lines that go like as part of 2-5. That kind of stuff. I'm still not really good at it, but they are really felt. Some of those chromatic lines, that stuff never felt comfortable. It felt really weird and it was kind of out of place. But it's not only for bebop, it's for anything. This exercise you can use as a warm-up. It really helps. And the way my teacher introduced me to it, he said like this exercise is about combinations, finger combinations with hammer-ons and pull-offs. So the easiest way to explain it is to show it to you. What we do is, I use kind of like some people call it the first position on the guitar. I have like my first finger on the first fret, second on the second, third on the third, and 4th on the 4th. That's a spread. If you're not comfortable with that, you can move it higher up the neck. If you feel like a badass, do it down here. Or, I don't know why I said that. Your first combination is quite simple. You take your first finger, it's pressing down the string. You pluck the string, and you hammer on the 2nd fret, okay? That's 1 to 2, that's how we write the down the combination. The next part of this 4-note combination is 3. You put this finger down already, pluck the note, and hammer on the 4th finger. Pretty simple so far. So your first combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? You do that through all the strings. And so on, okay? The next combination with that is we keep the first finger, our starting finger, and keep the second, but we can switch 3 and 4 around. So we have hammer on 1 and 2, and then we have a pull off from 4 to 3. So you have to put both fingers down at the same time. Okay, now we have a pull off and a hammer on, and we switch those two numbers around. This combination is 1, 2, 4, 3. Those are the first two combinations. The next two would be, we still keep our first finger, but now we go not 1, 2, we go 1, 3. So this time we have a hammer on from 1 to 3, and then a hammer on from 2 to 4. So this is 1, 3, 2, 4. Again through all the strings. Okay, next one is just flipping it around again. We have 1, 3 again, and then we have 4 to 2. So there you see, you kind of do a little bit of finger independence here, because this is down, then we have to put those two down and lift this one at the same time. You do that later on with the metronome, I get to that. So it's kind of making your fingers work a little bit. That's the next one with 3. The last one then for this starting finger number 1 would be 1, 4, 2, 3, again through all the strings. And then this one we can turn it around again. We can switch it in the middle. We go again 1, 4, 3, 2. This gives you 6 combinations with the starting finger as the first finger, okay? 6 combinations. You can do that 4 different times with 4 different starting fingers. The next one would be starting with the second finger, going 2, 1, 3, 4, and then 2, 1, 4, 3. Then 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you get 6 combinations again, starting with the second, 6 with starting with the third, and 6 starting with the fourth. So this gives you 24 if I look at my notes correctly, and if I can do a little math, that should give you 24 different combinations. The other thing of how to do that, how I got taught to do it, is very slowly with a metronome. Why very slowly? Because everything should be done very slowly if you learn something, and it really strengthens your fingers. The way my teacher told me to do it was the metronome, he did it very slow. I don't do it that slow anymore. I probably put a metronome at 40, okay? So I should have prepared this earlier, but let me put a metronome here. Or let's say 45 BPM on the metronome. When we start this, we try to imagine that the click is the beat and the space between the click is the offbeat. Oh, makes sense. So we try to pluck the offbeat and hammer on or pull off into the beat. This is something very common in jazz guitar. The slurring or kind of like legato playing into the beat gives a sense of urgency, gives a sense of forward motions. As well as the side effect of that is that you're picking all the offbeats, so that gives an accent on the offbeat, which is kind of what we want, or traditionally what we want, what many people want. I don't know if you want it, but it's a good exercise. I definitely would advise to do that. It's also good for your focus to do it with a metronome, and do it super, super slow. If I put the metronome on here, so this would be 1 and 2 and. So I would go. Okay, makes sense. That was the first combination. Do it through all the strings. Then the second one. And so on, very slowly through all the combinations. That can take up easily, depending on where your metronome is, like 15 minutes. So it's kind of a laborious starting exercise, but it has also something meditative, something calming for me at the start of practice. I have like those practice runs of like an hour each, and at the start of one of them I usually do this exercise to get my fingers in shape, and it helped me really over the years. I actually forgot it for a couple of years and rediscovered it at the end of last year again, and it made a huge difference in how my fingers feel and how their dexterity and their movement. Last thing to say about this, you can do that straight or swung. So what I did there, I think I did it straight. Correct me if I'm not, I will see it in the edit. But now I try to do it swing, so that means like the gap is a bit wider, like we have kind of triplets at the underlying thing. So we go. So to follow that, I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Compared to straight, 1. Okay, so there you see the two difference between like straight 8 notes, swing 8 notes in your practice. granted at this kind of speed, it's a bit arbitrary. It's hard to feel the swing feel, but it's a great exercise to practice swing really, really slowly. Not that I did a great job there, but I hope you could distinguish the two. That's it for today. I hope this helps you. You can put it in the routine. I know it's a bit of a nuisance maybe at the start because it really takes long, but sometimes we're also looking for stuff to practice. So I recommend this one. Thanks so much for watching the video. Thanks so much for all the people who subbed again this week. It was really cool. I hope you enjoyed the video so far. I hope trying to keep it up. I should have the time at the moment, really. And I hope some of you have the time to watch it. Okay, thanks so much. See you in the next one. Cheers.